I'm sorry, I'm going to have to move this along. I hate to do it, but I'm getting screamed at. Hey folks, Wednesday night was the top 9 results show on the X Factor. Lakoda, Rayne, and Leroy Bell were eliminated. I guess it wasn't a good day to be an L. But on the upside for them, at least they got to spend Thanksgiving with their families. I'm sure that was some consolation. Yeah, right. Kelly Clarkson kicked off the night with her new single, What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger, which actually isn't true. I guess Kelly's never been in a persistent vegetative state. They don't always kill, but you rarely ever get stronger. No, really, I enjoyed this performance when we finally got to see Kelly Clarkson. For the first half, it seemed like the camera was panned out to capture the artwork behind her, and nobody really cares about that stuff, do they? Boy, that was a tight dress she was wearing, though, wasn't it? I thought she was going to burst out of that thing. I was expecting a wardrobe malfunction at any moment, but it never happened, lucky for Kelly. I love this song, though. I don't think Kelly Clarkson has ever put out a single that I didn't like, but throughout the whole thing, I couldn't help but think about Roseanne. And no, that's not a jab at Kelly's weight. I think she looks lovely, although I would have done something different with that hair. It looked like she just got out of bed. But no, some of you might remember the last season of Roseanne, they decided it would be clever to add words to the theme song, and it started out with, What Doesn't Kill Us is Making Us Stronger, and so now every time I hear this song, I think about that. Next was a quick recap of Tuesday night's show. Poor L.A. Reid got a backstage tongue-lashing from Cowell about his criticism of Drew. But you know, several times on Tuesday, Simon reminded L.A. that Drew was a 14-year-old girl. But really, if Simon doesn't think a 14-year-old can handle some criticism, maybe he should think about raising the age limit. Simon seems to think that L.A. is unfairly criticizing Drew to play dirty pool or something, but I don't think that's the case. I think L.A. gave his honest opinion, even if his facts weren't accurate, so I don't have a problem with that. My only problem is that LA won't criticize his own contestants for the same kind of things. None of the judges will, even though they all of the contestants have been worthy of at least a little bit of criticism throughout the season. They don't get it from their own judges. Next, the Pepsi Choice group performance. Steve Jones says, this is going to be crazy, and indeed it was. There was just so much going on. It didn't seem to make much sense. At least Leroy Bell remembered to sing this time, so that was a good thing, but the whole thing was really just a mess. When it was over, Steve said, nicely done, America. Oh no, don't blame that crap on us. We didn't do it. Well, maybe we kind of did. Apparently there were some multiple choice options on the website to pick from, and so this is what the result was. Is that what it feels like to be a mentor? Click a few buttons on a website? It's probably more work than Nicole Scherzinger puts into her contestants. Next, time for some results. It's between Lakoda, Rayne, and Drew. One is going through to next week and the other is going home. Way to make it completely obvious. Of course, Drew was safe, so the girls of Lakoda, Rayne are history. Now Paula has no acts left. She didn't seem very surprised or upset. Terribly upset, though. I thought it was pretty obvious, but I thought it was in poor taste that they didn't let these girls change their clothes from that circus group performance first. I mean, they could have declared a couple of acts safe, gone to commercial and let everybody change their clothes so these poor girls could go out looking like ladies. Instead, the last time America gets to see them, they look like streetwalkers. Steve Jones says, well, the dream is over. How does it feel? Smooth, Steve. Very smooth. Did you know that Steve Jones actually has a reputation as a ladies' man? He's actually been romantically involved with a whole bunch of, beautiful, famous women. And for the life of me, I don't understand how. I mean, what's his best pickup line? Let's f***. The man has no charm or finesse. The girls put him in his place, though. Paige snatched the microphone from him and said, first off, the dream is not over. And then Haley said that we'd be seeing Lakoda, Rayne in concert everywhere. And they insist that they're going to stay together as a group. But sadly for them, they'll probably split up as soon as reality sets in. Cowell said in an interview that he thinks they got the acts because they're so pretty that girls don't like them, so they won't vote for them. Oh, give me a break. America didn't vote for them because we don't get a chance to know them. This groups thing is just not working in the United States. Sorry, Cowell. People have no problem voting for a pretty girl. Are you calling Carrie Underwood ugly? Are you calling Kelly Clarkson ugly? No, we'll vote for a pretty girl, but when we've got 10 of them thrown in a group together, it's hard to get to know them. Next, who's in the audience? It's Gizmo, Howie Mandel, plugging his new show Mobbed, which I actually watched after the X Factor. One of the worst shows I've ever suffered through in my life. I thought it was just terrible. While Howie Mandel was talking, though, Steve Jones said, sorry, gotta move on. Charming. Next was Bruno Mars with his new single, It Will Rain, and it sounded really nice from the kitchen, but I had to get up and fetch a snack, so I wasn't really paying attention. Hey, I just made a rhyme. Well, slap an attitude on me and call me Astro. Who, by the way, was safe this week, along with everyone else except Marcus Canty and Leroy Bell, who, interestingly enough, were the only two that dedicated their performances on Tuesday to their mothers. Does America hate mothers or something? I don't know. Leroy was scared and Marcus was feeling kind of funny. So first up, singing for survival was Marcus Canty with You Lost Me by Christina Aguilera, and the judges didn't seem to be crazy about it. And most of the people I saw online didn't really like it. My sister hated it, and I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was Marcus's best performance yet, though I'm still not a big fan of Marcus. Not like I used to be. I used to really like Marcus, and he's kind of gone downhill for me, so I wouldn't have minded seeing him go home. Leroy sang Don't Let Me Down, and he was good too. There seemed to be more life in his performance, but I liked Marcus's performance better, even though I kind of like Leroy better. So, anyway, it's up to the judges. Reid took 25 minutes to vote amongst party lines, as did Nicole Scherzinger. And Paula Abdul, she kind of put Steve Jones in his place. She said, well, it's not that quick, Steve. And then Simon, anyway, it came down to deadlock. America got to decide, and it was Leroy Bell going home. I would have rather seen Marcus go home, kind of. But you know, these judges take forever to say how they're going to vote when you already know how they're going to vote to begin with. Now, Reid spent 1 minute and 6 seconds. Nicole Scherzinger spent 52 seconds, Paula Abdul spent 46 seconds, and Simon Cowell spent 28 seconds. I know that I talk crap about Steve Jones all the time, but the reason he can't move things along is because these judges aren't helping him. If I was working at a place and my co-worker seemed to be struggling, well, I'm not going to do their job for them, but I'm not going to do things that are going to make their job harder. And I think these judges are doing that with Steve Jones. Poor thing is standing up there scared to death, it seems like. And they're just not helping him at all. The difference is, now, Ryan Seacrest is definitely a better host, but the thing is, American Idol could go into overtime and nobody cares because the ratings are so high, and X Factor can't do that, so he's got to get that show over with, and so they need to hurry up. Plus, American Idol's got that padding at the end, you know, where you have that performance at the end, so there's going to be a little bit of time there, whereas on X Factor, it's like right at the last minute, so these judges have to hurry up and speak up. Quit dragging it out when we already know what you're going to say anyway. So, yeah. Now, Leroy Bell has said in interviews that he's happy going out where he went. He accomplished his goal of gaining more fans. And I guess he kind of did. You know, I'm always talking about when these people go home, it's failure for them. And it kind of is, depending on what their expectations are. But if your expectation is just that you're going to be more popular than you were before, well, that's probably the truth. And since Leroy was already singing before, he was already performing, he was already touring and releasing CDs, now he'll be able to do that with a little bit more name recognition. And he's so old that it don't really matter anyway. But for these young people, they might want to think of learning a different trade. So yeah, now Marcus Canty has had the wind sucked out of him. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to win now. Does anybody go on from being in a bottom this early on, well, it's actually kind of late in the game, to winning? I don't know, can he or can't he? I don't think he can. So next week is the top 7. I don't know what the theme's going to be, but 2 people are going home again next week, so it's going to end up a finale of 3. Which I think is a kind of a good thing. I think we would have seen a lot of different winners on American Idol if it had been 3-way finales. I'll see you folks next week. Oh, happy Thanksgiving, a day late. Happy Black Friday.